Hello and welcome back to this channel. Today I want to share what we're doing in our home education setting for our preschool at home phonics lessons, and mainly focusing on teaching the letters of the alphabet. Now my son is nearly 3.5 and we've been teaching the letters of the alphabet for the past 6 months. And really, when I first started, I was doing sort of my own curriculum based on free resources and books that I had, and I was trying to teach a letter a week, but in a not alphabetical setting. So there are a few different ways you can teach the alphabet. And then I just kind of ran out of steam with the planning, and I wanted to get something a bit more context-based and meaningful and open and go. So I looked at the samples of the Good and the Beautiful preschool curriculum, and then I decided it looked good and it was quite inexpensive to get the digital download of the whole curriculum. So I went ahead and did that. Now we've been following that curriculum for phonics for the past 2 months. And I'm actually repeating Unit 1 again at the moment. So the first time I just got rid of everything I was doing before and just followed that curriculum. But it does go a little fast for my boy. So it's covering more like 2 letters a week, sometimes 3. And it felt a bit fast. So I've actually gone back and I'm going over Unit 1 again. And this time I'm combining it with a lesson a week, a letter a week, and we're doing 4 lessons a week from the curriculum, and then 1 day of practice sheets. So the Good and the Beautiful preschool curriculum covers phonics and numbers, colours, pre-writing and cutting and pasting, but we are just using it for phonics. I do everything in the lesson, but all the extra stuff is just extra. So I do teach numbers separately. I have a different curriculum for that. So whatever is covered in the Good and the Beautiful while we're doing our phonics lesson, that's fine. But I'm not really testing him on that because this goes for number recognition, like straight away, and we're not working towards that in our maths lessons in our homeschool just yet. So we're just learning to count, using manipulatives, so we're not actually teaching the numerals yet. So I do cover that, but really what I use this is for the phonics. And I recently saw a YouTuber talk about how they're using this curriculum for, I think it was a 3-year-old as well, nearly 4 maybe, and they don't teach the upper and the lowercase and the letter name. They just taught the sounds as they were using this curriculum, because this curriculum does teach you to do the letter name, the sound, the uppercase and the lowercase, and I have been doing that, but recently I did think, when I heard them say that, it did make me think maybe I could switch to just doing the sound, because he does pick up the sound really easily and he does know some of the names, but the differences between upper and lower, he doesn't always connect those two. So yeah, I might start to do that, but anyway, I'm going to share what we do in our phonics lessons on a weekly basis. So the actual Good and the Beautiful lesson plan, I teach at the end of our phonics lesson. So the first thing I do when we start our phonics lesson is the ABC song from the Good and the Beautiful. I play that song. It's the alphabet song, and it's on the Good and the Beautiful app. And it's also on YouTube. So we do the alphabet song. That just starts our formal lessons after morning time. And phonics is the first lesson we do. So we do the alphabet song first. And then if it's a Friday and we're just practicing what we've done, I will play the letter sounds for the letters that we've worked on in the Good and the Beautiful curriculum. So we're doing A, B, C and D at the moment, and they're just short videos, like 40 seconds each or less, on these sounds that each letter makes. And I'll also do that if it comes up in the lesson plan. If it tells you to play those letter sound videos, then I'll do that then as well in the week. But otherwise I'll do that on a Friday. The next thing I do is flashcards. So the flashcards are the ones that come in the Good and the Beautiful preschool curriculum. In the past I've used different flashcards, but I did sort of read that it wasn't good to have images with the letters, because then the child has to work out the image first and then connect it to the letter, whereas it's better just to have the letter on its own, because then they can recognise it in any context. So I've switched to these flashcards, and we are doing upper and lowercase, and I only do the letters that we have already come across in the Good and the Beautiful lessons. So we just do those very quickly after our alphabet song. Then we go into an alphabet book. So I just read an A to Z book. We have different selections. I'll probably do a video on these books, the different alphabet books we have. But yeah, I just go through A to Z. Sometimes I ask questions, other times I don't. And they're just very basic books, just to repeat the alphabet order and add any vocabulary when it comes to certain letters. So after the alphabet book, I do a letter book, but so these are more alphabet books, but they have more detail about each letter. So I'll only read the letter for the letter of the week, and I'll do a different one of these every day. So there's sort of 5 books, and I'll do one per day, focusing on that letter that we're studying that week. I used to get 5 different books from the library every week based on whatever letter we were studying. So maybe like a book about apples and a book about an alligator, but this is just simpler to use these alphabet books that I had already on hand, and these go into just a little bit more detail about the letter. So I've got one where it tells you a story about each letter, and then we have other ones where it introduces the letter, and then you can find different things in the images that start with that letter, so we go through those. There's a simple like flower fairy one that I've got that just has a little poem about that letter, and then there's one about Africa. And this is one that our neighbour gave us, and it just introduces like a bit of geography as well when we talk about Africa as a continent, and name some things, connect things to the alphabet when it comes to Africa. Then the next thing I do is I start to do a different task based on our letter of the week. So a worksheet or a activity. So the first thing we do on a Monday, so we've done our alphabet song, we've done our flashcards, we've done our alphabet book, and we've looked at the letter in one of those books in more detail. So say we're doing the letter C, we'll be doing a craft based on the letter C that day. So it's not like a craft like I used to do a craft for every day of the week. So we were doing A, I would craft an anthill or craft an alligator the next day, and that was just taking up too much time and preparation. So now I just use the Good and the Beautiful practice sheets for their letter crafts, and I do that letter so he can decorate it however he wants. I have here he's done the sparkly one, A. He's used paint sticks to do the B. He's done some gluing sponge pieces to do the C, and then he did a mixed media piece here with paint and glitter glue for the D. So that's it on the Monday, and then we just move straight into the Good and the Beautiful lesson. And I would say that when we do the lesson, if the craft comes up for another letter that's not our letter of the week, I still let him do that because that's part of the lesson plan. So sometimes he's doing 2 letters, but throughout the week we'll be focusing on 1 letter as well. So on Tuesdays, after we've done our alphabet song flashcards and our books, I'll do a find the letter worksheet, which I got online, and just use a stamper. He can find that letter, and he loves doing those. And then I'll go into the Good and the Beautiful lesson. And then on a Wednesday, after we've done all those beginning bits, we will switch out the craft and the word, like letter search, to another letter search which has uppercase and lowercase. So I'll get him to stamp different colours depending on what he finds. And yeah, he likes doing worksheets like this. This was just another free printable online too. And then on Thursday we do something a bit more hands-on again. We do some Play-Doh building of the letters. So I just laminated these sheets that I found online and made them into like Play-Doh mats, and we build the letter of the week. And then we go into our lesson. And then the last thing we do on a Friday is we do some letter clip cards. I've got uppercase and lowercase clip cards, which I got from Etsy, where you can select the letter, put a peg on the card that matches the uppercase to lowercase, and then some sound letter clip cards here, which shows some images, and then you have to find what letter those items start with. And then we go into practice sheets on a Friday. So that is everything we do for phonics at the moment. We are doing our alphabet song, our flashcards, alphabet books, letter books, and then we're doing some crafts, some Play-Doh, building, some identifying with clip cards, some finding the letters on worksheets, and then we do our Good and the Beautiful phonics lessons. So yeah, I would definitely recommend the Good and the Beautiful curriculum. It is really fun to do, and the lessons are so short, so easy, and they definitely do help repeat things that have been covered, but I do find it does go a little bit fast as well. I would prefer to just focus on one letter for a bit longer, so that's why I do the extra stuff as well. And actually it doesn't take that long for us to do everything each day. It's only about 15 minutes. And yeah, I do look forward to the phonics and teaching him to read. So our plan is to go through the alphabet, 1 letter a week, until we finish, and then I'll try and look at something more like a learning to read curriculum. I've been looking at things like teach your child to read in 100 easy lessons and things like that. So that's what I've got my eye on for the future, but that's probably going to be nearer to when he's 4. So yeah, I hope you found this video useful, and I'd be really interested to know what curriculums you use for teaching the alphabet or phonics, because there's so many different options, and it's such a big decision when you go ahead and purchase something when you can't really see what you're getting, like when it comes to books and things. But yeah, if you want to have a look at the sample pages of The Good and the Beautiful, they do offer a good idea of what the lessons are like, so I'd recommend that. But yeah, or if you don't want to purchase a curriculum, then maybe just doing a letter a week based on free resources, which is what I was doing before, might be useful. So thank you for watching, and I'll look forward to talking in the comments and see you in my next video.